3 races into the 2026 Formula One season, Honda and Aston Martin have not completed a single Grand Prix. Not one. Both cars retired in Australia. Both cars retired in China. The vibrations that have plagued the power unit since pre-season testing in Bahrain have damaged batteries, physically hurt the drivers, and prevented the team from ever understanding what the AMR26 is actually capable of. And now, heading into the Japanese Grand Prix, Honda's home race in front of their own fans, the situation has taken a turn that nobody wanted to confirm out loud. The current engine is not fixable, not with updates, not with countermeasures, not with calibration changes. The fundamental architecture of the Honda RA626H carries a structural weakness that cannot be resolved through incremental development. And the most damning part of that conclusion is not that Honda are scrapping it. It is that they are only now, 3 races into the season, beginning to understand exactly why. Honda's return to Formula One as a works team was always going to carry risk. The company announced its withdrawal from the sport in October 2020, only to reverse that decision in May 2023, committing to Aston Martin and the 2026 regulations. That timeline matters enormously. Some manufacturers began designing their 2026 power units as early as 2022. Honda was already behind before a single component had been manufactured. Honda's engine chief Satoshi Tsunoda acknowledged this directly, admitting the late start immediately handicapped the program. The cost cap, fixed at $95 million per year during the development period, meant Honda could not compensate for lost time by simply spending more. The constraints were structural from day one. When the RA626H first ran in Barcelona in January 2026, the problems were already present. In Bahrain testing, Honda used most of their spare parts in a single test session, leaving them critically underprepared for the season opener in Melbourne. The vibrations were there. The battery failures were there. The engineers from both Honda and Aston Martin knew the situation was serious. What they did not know, and what 3 races of data has now confirmed, is that the problems were not surface level. They were baked into the architecture of the engine itself. The vibrations are not a tuning problem. They are not a software problem. They are not a problem that gets better with more mileage and data. That is the conclusion that has emerged from 3 race weekends and months of dyno work in Sakura, and it is the conclusion that makes the Japanese Grand Prix the most uncomfortable race Honda has faced in its modern Formula One history. Honda's trackside general manager Shintaro Orihara stated after China that there was no excuse for their reliability and performance. He acknowledged incremental progress in managing the impact of vibrations on the battery systems, but also confirmed that the cause of the vibrations affecting the drivers had still not been identified. Read that again. After 3 race weekends after Bahrain testing, after months of dyno work, the cause of the vibrations has not been identified. Fernando Alonso retired from the Chinese Grand Prix on lap 32 because the physical toll had become too great. He described finding more vibrations in that session than at any point across the entire weekend. Newey had warned before the season that the vibrations carried a risk of long-term nerve damage to the driver's hands if they attempted full race distances. Lance Stroll retired after just 9 laps with a battery failure, a direct consequence of the same vibrations damaging the electrical systems repeatedly. Now Japanese publication Sega Sports, one of the most credible sources in the Honda paddock orbit, has reported that the cause has finally been identified, and the conclusion is the worst possible outcome. The vibrations stem from a fundamental structural weakness in the power unit architecture. Not a component that can be replaced, not a calibration that can be adjusted, a foundational design flaw that cannot be resolved without rebuilding the engine from scratch. Honda is not making a small adjustment. They are not introducing a revised specification with targeted improvements. According to Sega Sports, Honda's engineering leadership has concluded that months of development work must be restarted completely. The current RA626H is being treated as a transitional solution, a car they will manage through 2026 as best they can, while a fundamentally new power unit concept is built from scratch alongside it. The timeline for that new specification has not been confirmed. No debut date has been announced. The development of a Formula One power unit from conceptual design through homologation and race preparation takes months at minimum, and in a cost-capped environment with restricted dyno testing hours, potentially longer. What this means in practical terms is that Aston Martin are looking at 2026 as a year of survival rather than competition. The priority is not lap time, it is data. Every race completed, every lap turned, every session finished gives Honda more information about how the new car architecture behaves in real-world conditions, information that cannot be replicated on a test bench in Sakura. Even that information is complicated. The data collected under the current abnormal running conditions is not fully reliable as a development baseline. A car that cannot be driven at full potential produces numbers that do not represent the true performance envelope. Aston Martin's aerodynamic and chassis engineers are effectively developing blind, building a car for conditions they cannot yet properly simulate because the power unit will not allow the car to run normally. Honda's home Grand Prix at Suzuka carries cultural weight that goes far beyond sport in Japan. It is the moment when the entire country watches their manufacturer compete at the highest level of motorsport. It is the race where Honda's engineers, designers, and leadership attend in person. And this year, it is the race where Honda arrives knowing their engine has a fundamental design flaw, having introduced emergency countermeasures that their own representative admits carry limited confidence, and facing a circuit that amplifies every weakness their package already carries. Suzuka's energy management profile is particularly unforgiving for a power unit that cannot be operated at full output. The circuit's high-speed flowing sections demand sustained electrical deployment across multiple consecutive corners. The MGUK harvesting that Honda needs to work efficiently through the chicanes and hairpin is exactly the system that vibration damage has compromised most severely. Orihara confirmed before Japan that the team had focused the gap between China and Suzuka on improving battery reliability through vibration reduction, but admitted the cause of the vibrations affecting the drivers was still not identified and the car's performance in energy management was still not where they wanted it. Honda's management is reportedly concerned about the image the team will present at their home race if the countermeasures fail or new problems emerge in other areas. The vibration is the most urgent weakness. It is not the only one. In the middle of one of the most difficult weeks in Aston Martin's recent history, Fernando Alonso became a father. He and his partner Melissa Jimenez welcomed their first child on the eve of the Japanese Grand Prix weekend. Alonso was given permission to arrive later than his fellow drivers in Suzuka, missing his scheduled Thursday media obligations for personal and family reasons. He is expected to be present for Friday's practice sessions. That moment of personal joy sits in sharp contrast to the professional situation Alonso is navigating. He extended his career into the 2026 regulation era specifically because he believed in the Aston Martin project and in Newey's ability to build a championship contender. Instead, he is managing a car that physically limits how long he can drive it, not because of age, not because of fitness, but because of what the engine transmits through the steering wheel into his hands. On the leadership side, Jonathan Wheatley's arrival from Audi as team principal represents the most significant structural change the team has made since the crisis began. Wheatley brings operational experience from Red Bull's most dominant period and the kind of structured management that Aston Martin has lacked. The challenge is timing. Wheatley is subject to a gardening period that could extend until March 2027 before he can officially join. Lance Stroll is reportedly negotiating with Audi to reduce that period as much as possible. The target is to have Wheatley operational at Silverstone before the end of 2026 to prepare the 2027 project because 2027, not 2026, is now the realistic horizon for when Aston Martin can begin to show what this project is actually capable of. Suzuka should be Honda's celebration. The home race, the home crowd, the return of a manufacturer that won 4 consecutive Constructors' Championships with Red Bull just a few years ago. Instead, Honda arrives at Suzuka with an engine they have decided to scrap, a vibration problem whose cause was only just identified, and countermeasures that their own representative admits carry limited confidence. 3 races without a finish, a fundamental design flaw confirmed, a rebuild starting from scratch with no timeline, a team principal on gardening leave until 2027, and Fernando Alonso, who extended his career to drive this car, celebrating the birth of his first child while the project he committed to falls apart around him. Aston Martin's 2026 season is not over in the points sense. It is over in the performance sense. What happens from here is survival, data collection, and preparation for 2027. Subscribe to F1 Perspective. We will track every step.